Leave me be. Haunt me no longer.
Humbug!
One of the most well-known sayings in media, especially in the theater, is, "The show must go on." And for these crazy blokes, they take it quite literally. So for this Christmas season, I want to talk about probably one of my favorite things that you should watch this Christmas. That is the WRON franchise. From Peter Pan Goes Wrong, to Christmas Carol Goes Wrong, to this Goes Wrong show. So before we talk about the actual shows, let's take a look at what went right with Goes Wrong. The Goes Wrong series is actually a series of plays made possible by three people: Henry Lewis, Jonathan Sayer, and Henry Shields, who actually all met each other when they were attending LAMDA, the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. They were even regarded as alumni of the Academy. During their time, they worked with people who eventually formed their theater company, the Mischief Theater Company, creating what would be one of their greatest/dangerous work ever made for theater, which, believe it or not, actually released in 2012, known as The Play That Goes Wrong, written and starring the big three themselves, as well as some other actors I'll talk about later, where they try to adapt a play known as The Murder at Haversham Manor, and how dramatically they mess things up. There are clips of it on YouTube, but I think you have to really enjoy the actual play with the original actors to really enjoy it. The play itself was a massive success and was nominated for 8 different awards and won 5 of them, including a What's on Stage award, the Broadway UK award, and even winning a Tony. That in itself is really high praise for even a stage play. But that's only made possible within the people of the play. Because what makes this series so enjoyable is that we also get to know the cast of characters made for this hysterical stage play, with the writers also taking place, with Henry Shields playing the director of each disaster piece, Chris Bean. Henry Lewis playing Robert Grove, the self-centered failed actor. Ironically enough, he also returned to LAMDA as a teacher, which is even more ironic considering he acts like a failed actor. But my personal favorite of the three is Dennis Tide, played by Jonathan Sawyer, who cannot remember his lines no matter what the situation, leading to some of the funniest scenes within the play. Trust me when I say I do not want to spoil it, because you have to see for yourself how ridiculous these plays get. The clips I'm showing right now are not spoil heavy, and I don't want to give away some of the best jokes within the show. But trust me, you have to see for yourself how amazing these humor is. Not to mention the other cast of characters who are featured within the plays, such as Sandra Wilkinson, played by Charlie Russell, a wannabe actor but not as egotistical as Robert, and her ongoing relationship with Max Bennett, aka Dave Hearn, who loves to be in the limelight even though he acts like a goofy idiot, Annie Twiloli, played by Nancy Zammit, formerly a stagehand turned actor for better and for worse, Trevor, played by Chris Lask, the sound and lighting operator who accidentally appears when he's not supposed to be, and trying to handle every single worst case scenario that happens on and off the stage, Vanessa Wilcock Wynn Carraway, played by Bryony Corrigan, and Jonathan Harris, played by Greg Tenahill. All these characters are all members of the Cornley Drama Society, a fake stage company made of our accident-prone cast. And I love every single one of them. When you get to really get to know the characters they play as, you really get to embrace how ridiculous each character goes. And yeah, it can be a little corny and a little too predictable at times, but that's just what makes it so enjoyable. But you're probably wondering, why should I talk about this during the holiday season? Well, that's actually pretty simple. A lot of their productions have a lot of Christmas-themed moments in them. Starting with, of course, their second play that they've actually made, which is also one of their best in my personal opinion. 2013's Peter Pan Goes Wrong. It was their second and most well-known play made by Mischief Theater Company. That's also because it was also remade into a TV special in 2016 under the same name, retelling the classic story of Peter Pan to the best of their abilities. I also find it very interesting that Peter Pan is played during the holiday season. Is that really a thing that they do in Europe? Let me know in the comments. And this is how I was discovered to the series. I found a clip of one of the shows and I was just laughing my guts out, to the point where I actually showed this to my family. We all couldn't stop laughing throughout the entirety of the play. It was that funny. So much so that I really had a hard time breathing after watching so many funny moments within the play. There are other plays that they've also done. Unfortunately, most of them are stage plays that you can't really watch on YouTube. Well, there are some clips available, but I want to enjoy the source material to a full. These include productions such as Magic Gone Wrong, and a comedy about a bank robbery. But trust me when I say, I'm sure they're really hilarious. After the massive success that was the TV special of Peter Pan Goes Wrong, They even got to do another one a year after, based on the most well-known Christmas stories of all time, A Christmas Carol. And yeah, this one is also hilarious. Though I do prefer Peter Pan Goes Wrong, A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong is also just as hilarious, mostly because it does have a high production value as the Peter Pan version. It did though originally air on BBC, but you can find both versions now on YouTube. And I highly recommend watching it and showing your friends this hilariousness. Which of course leads us to what I'm going to talk about right now, The Goes Wrong Show. With so far only 2 seasons under its belt, with season 1 being available on YouTube. If you want to watch season 2, it is available on the Broadway application, which you can find on Amazon Prime. If you subscribe now, you get 7 days for free. It's also watch a theatrical version of Cats, without it being visually horrific. The Goes Wrong Show released in 2020. Unfortunately, the show did actually have to go through a lot of different setbacks because, 2020. Though season 2 did release in 2021, with the show actually going through different types of plays, all of which are extremely funny. There are a lot of really great episodes within the show, with my personal favorites being all the Christmas specials they do, and the craziness that is 90 Degrees, having some of the best jokes and probably the most dangerous acts in the show. No joke when I say a lot of the things they do for these plays are actually incredibly dangerous. There's even a clip from one of the stage plays actually going wrong, but not in the right way. So there is a lot of dedication to actually making disaster pieces like this. Though the show currently has 2 seasons, what's going to happen to the show now? Well, there is actually talk of a 3rd season currently in development, but there hasn't been any news or even a release date of the production of it. And again, season 2 is only available on the Broadway application. But if you want more information on what goes behind the scenes and develops through a lot of the plays, I actually recommend checking out the YouTube channel of Mischief Company Theater, just called, Mischief, where the actors actually go behind the scenes of what actually goes on throughout a lot of the scenes. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but trust me when I say there's a lot that goes into these plays than just them being hilariously bad in a good way. And it's also really refreshing to see a play that goes wrong go so right. When it comes to developing plays, they have to do everything perfectly. Sure, there are times when things can go awry. No joke, one time I went to the Nutcracker and there was the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies. One of the actresses tripped and got back up, and I thought that was actually part of the play. But then again, I was young and stupid, not knowing that there actually is a lot that goes into plays. The Goes Wrong actually parodies the idea that every play has to go perfectly correct every single time. The idea that a play has to be perfect sometimes can be a little ridiculous, but there is some enjoyment on what makes the play so entertaining. It's really funny to see how the Goes Wrong series actually parodies what goes, wrong with a play. It's ingenious and hilarious to see a parody of actual stage plays, to the point where it actually feels really refreshing. So if you want a good laugh this holiday season, and trust me, after the last few years we've had, we really need some humor in this world, I highly recommend checking out the Goes Wrong series. And considering that most of them are available on YouTube, go for it, my friend. Now that we're near the end of this video, this will be the last one for 2022. And by the looks of it, I forgot to write our ending for this script. So...